Now, I want to talk about the Wendy Williams documentary. Now, Wendy Williams did a interview with Harvey from TMZ, okay? It's unfortunate that she wasn't able to do a face-to-face interview with him because I don't think that her guardian approved of this interview, but she still, Wendy is resilient. She found a way to still, be heard and speak and be able to do her interview and tell what's being happening to her inside of this facility that she's been locked away at, even though he was in a separate, space and she was just like in the window where they had cameras and things like that. It just was so sad because I just wish that she could have just been in the room with him or whatever. But unfortunately, she just wasn't able to do it. They have Wendy Williams locked away in a assisted living facility with older dementia patients, which I don't understand like why. She said the patients are like in their 80s and like 90s. Like she's like super young, not like super young, but she's like 60. And I'm still trying to figure out why they tried to make us think that Wendy had dementia and something else called aphasia. I mean, we all know that Wendy has been going through a lot. She hasn't quite been the same since she got a divorce from Big Heaven, and then he was cheating on her and, parading his mistress around town, spending her money, and bought his mistress a house. They had a child, he had a baby on her, and he bought his mistress a car with Wendy's money because we all know Big Heaven ain't had no money. That was Wendy's money. And also, Wendy hasn't quite been the same either, since her mom passed. I know how it feels because you go through a lot when you lose a parent, especially your mother. You only get one mother. So mentally, she just wasn't really in a good space. Maybe that's where they thought that she was incapacitated because she was like, drinking and different things like that. But I don't know what's going on. I also think that it's messed up that she's denied access to the outside world. They don't allow her any type of freedom, any type of recreation, just maybe to go to a doctor's appointment and make a day of it. Like, maybe after you take her to a dentist or her primary care physician or something like that, take her to go have lunch. And maybe, it's kind of cold right now. So maybe you don't want to do too much outdoors, but I'm sure she would appreciate, some good food, and just some conversation instead of just being locked away in a room all the time. I mean, I think they will allow her out the room to go and talk to the older dementia patients, but she doesn't have anything in common with them because they're much older than her. And a lot of them, they really have dementia, like really. So what is she going to talk to them about? So most of the time she usually just stay to herself in her room, which I don't blame her because I'm an extreme introvert myself. But anyway, like I was saying, she's denied access to the outside world. She's confined to a small room with just a TV that she had to buy with her money, and it's insufficient sunlight. Now, as humans, and especially as African American people, we need sunlight. We thrive off of sunlight. We need vitamin D from the sun because it has nutrients and nourishment, and it helps with your mood. If you're not getting enough sunlight, that can make you sick. That can also make you sick. That might be another reason why she might be having some problems. But I don't understand why they're trying to make us believe that she's incapacitated because she sounds like she's of her sound mind to me. She's everything that she says makes sense. I don't know what's going on. Let's talk about the Guardian. Wendy's guardian denied Wendy access to her storage unit because she has a storage unit and she has some of her dad's things and some of her clothes and stuff. Because Wendy, she had like a lot of clothes and she liked to wear the fur coats and the little furry boots and the little shorts and the little things that she liked to wear. And she wasn't allowed to go get anything that belongs to her. I don't understand what is the problem. Why can't she go and get her things out? Even if somebody escorts her there, if you try to keep her safe, as you say, why is this conservatorship and this guardianship so restrictive? I'm not understanding. I understand the conservatorship is put in place to protect her money from her son. But why is she not allowed to go out? I'm not understanding that part. That's just weird to me. I don't understand that. I don't get it. I don't understand why the guardian can't send somebody with her for her to get her things. I mean, she at the end of the day, she's still an adult, not a child. Let's talk about visitation or lack thereof. Why is her guardian denying Wendy access to visitation from family and close friends. I understand that, Wendy being the person that she was, she had a show, she had different things going on. So she has to be careful who she has around her. She has to be careful who she has around her. But I'm not understanding why her niece can't see her dad can't see her, and her sister can't see her. At least her family members. That part I don't get. I don't get that part. However, I feel like she needs to be monitored closely around her son. I do not trust her son at all. I don't feel like he should be allowed to take Wendy anywhere by himself because he cannot be trusted. Now while we're on the subject of her son, let's get into that a little bit more. Wendy implicated her son as the reason for her being in the conservatorship. Her son was spending her money carelessly and frivolously. He was balling out. I mean, he spent $113,000 buying a boat for his birthday. I mean, he was balling out on her dime. He spent over $100,000, according to her, on DoorDash and food and like Uber Eats and stuff. Who, how, why? Who was he buying food for? He must have been buying food for like everybody that was like around him. Because $100,000 is nasty work. Honey, you need to learn how to cook. You are spoiled, little Kevin, and you need to learn how to cook. But anyway, let's get back into that. Like I said, she implicated her son as the reason for her being in the conservatorship. He was spending her money carelessly. She received notifications from Wells Fargo. However, she wasn't able to receive the notifications because her son confiscated her phone. Wendy told us months ago that her phone was taken away. She just didn't say by who. We didn't know who. We just automatically just assumed that the guardian had took it, but the son had took it. And now we also know why he took the phone, because he didn't want her to find out that he was taking money out of her account, and he didn't want the bank to be able to get in contact with her. He is diabolical. Okay, first of all, who is he to be taking his mother's phone? He took the phone, like I said, to prevent her from finding out about the missing money. Her bank sent her fraud notifications, but she wasn't able to answer it because she didn't have a phone. That would explain how the guardianship came into play. Now we know how. I feel like what little Kevin did was disgraceful. Wendy is stuck between a rock and a hard place because that's her only child. We knew for years she was having fertility issues, and she had like miscarriages and things of that nature. She discussed that also. That's not a secret. So she struggled with infertility. So little Kevin was a blessing to her, and she had to go on bed rest to keep him, so that she can, carry him to term without miscarrying. So he means everything to her, and she would have given that boy the world. She would have given him the world on a silver platter if he asked her for it. So as far as the conservatorship goes, I hope that she's able to get out of that situation. I mean, I feel like her money does need to be protected, but I think that I just kind of hope that she can get out of the guardianship. Because I still feel that she does need a caregiver, but I think that the guardianship situation is a little restrictive, because she's not allowed to do anything. It's almost like she's in prison. She even said it out of her mouth in the documentary that she felt like she was in prison. And I can understand why, because she's unable to go anywhere. She doesn't have any freedoms. Like all her freedom was taken away from her. I feel like she does need a caregiver to help her with her daily needs. And she also needs somebody around her to keep a close eye on her while she's around her son. I don't trust her son at all. At all. If he could do that to his mother, what would he do to one of us if he had a chance? I'm wondering who raised him, because we know that Wendy worked, and she worked very hard to build herself up and establish herself as a radio personality. So she probably didn't spend much time with him, but she probably made up for it by buying him guilt gifts. So which meant he either was with a nanny, or he probably spent a lot of time around his father, which either way that wasn't good, because you see how his father moved. His father moved real grimy and greasy. We just have to keep an eye on it. We have to pray for Sister Wendy, free Wendy Williams. I hope she's able to get out of the situation. We're going to keep our eyes on this to see how this develops. And just drop down in the comment section and just let me know how you feel about everything. Be blessed. Thank you.